Okay, we are in episode 7 of Ahsoka, and this is a good one. Things are looking better for this show. Obviously, we've got one more episode to go, so clearly, things have to be picking up to wrap up to a conclusion. I was actually surprised to see that they didn't just leave Hera's story gone. We actually spend the first scene of this episode with Hera, where she has to answer to, the Senate for why she, disobeyed orders to go on this whole mission thing. And there's this one senator who, very clearly has it out for her, and I'm pretty sure he's, secretly an Imperial. He actually reminds me a lot of Mon Mothma's husband from Andor. He seems very similar to him as a character, and Mon Mothma is also in this. I think she's now the Chancellor of the New Republic, and I really like the actress who plays Mon Mothma. I'm glad that we're seeing more development of her in the Star Wars mythos. Definitely looking forward to Andor season 2. She's had great stuff there. Here, she's just kind of present, but she's able to give some of that vulnerability that we see from her in Andor. But one weird thing that they kind of have to dance around is that at this point, after Return of the Jedi, Leia is a central figure, right? She helped rebuild the New Republic. She's the general of the Resistance in episode 7. So she can't be politically missing. But also, Carrie Fisher is dead. And while that wouldn't necessarily stop them, because they've had CGI young Mark Hamill on The Mandalorian in the Book of Boba Fett, and they didn't have Mark Hamill on set for that. They cast a guy who looks like Mark Hamill and then deep-faked his face, and then used AI generation to use young Mark Hamill's voice to do him. I don't like them doing that. I'd prefer they just recast somebody. I mean, the guy that they cast to do the Mark Hamill stand-in looks an awful lot like Mark Hamill, and I think they should just have him play Luke. And likewise, I think they should just cast somebody new to play younger Leia for these. But barring that, they kind of have to be talking about Leia like she's just in the other room. And so, Leia ends up sending 3PO in to bail Hera out. Transgirl Jade says there's going to be an Andor Season 2. Yep, there's an Andor Season 2. They were actually filming... I had some concerns with Andor Season 2 because they were filming when the writer's strike happened. And so Tony Gilroy, basically, because he's the showrunner, he had to step away because that's, WGA. He's the writer for the show. I don't know how much of it they got finished before the actor's strike happened, but I do have concerns about how that will impact the final show. But yeah, I am looking forward to season 2. But yeah, Transgirl J says, I wouldn't mind someone else playing Leia. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's fine to recast. I actually quite like Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo. I think he was probably one of the better bits of that movie. It's not a good movie, but I think Alden Ehrenreich was quite charming as Han Solo. So when Kathleen Kennedy says stuff like, oh, we need to avoid recasting these legacy actors, nah, that's bullshit. You totally can. Everyone liked Donald Glover as Lando. Everyone thinks Donald Glover was a great Lando recast. I think it's totally fine. 3PO showing up, 3PO's nobody's favorite character, but I can understand using him as okay, he's here as the messenger for Leia, so 3PO gets to show up. And Anthony Daniels is such a jerk in the entertainment industry that this is the only job he can get, so he's definitely going to milk it any opportunity he gets to play 3PO. So, he gets a paycheck. But the episode after that, in total, is a lot of action and a lot of Thrawn kind of playing Xanatos. Does anybody remember the cartoon Gargoyles from the 90s? Where every time Xanatos had a plan that the Gargoyles would foil, it would go back to Xanatos at the end of the episode. He's like, yes, they did this, but I also planned on this happening. So even though I lost this battle, I still get ahead. Thrawn is being set up as a new Xanatos. He's very much in that kind of vein where he's just like, oh yes, I didn't kill Ahsoka, but she was distracted by my thing here, so we got this other stuff so that, but it's very, very much like that. And I can appreciate, obviously, Thrawn is, he's not going to be getting into direct fistfights with people. That's not who he is. He's a military leader, so showing him off like that as kind of his live action debut, I think that's better. Now, I've seen Rebels, so I have seen how intimidating Thrawn can be in animation. And I have not read the Timothy Zahn books, which is where Thrawn originates. Although I do know that Timothy Zahn has been instrumental in a lot of Thrawn's appearances in the new Disney canon. So I don't know if Zahn has any hand in this show in particular, but Dave Filoni did work with him when he brought Thrawn to Rebels. And I really like Lars Mikkelsen as an actor. I think he's got a strong performance as Thrawn. And Transgirl Jade says Thrawn is supposed to be a strategic mastermind also, so that plays into his character as well. Yes, that is how he is being portrayed in this episode. I think even though that is how he's being portrayed, I think that the plan that he had was a little simplistic, but if he can keep pulling those out, if he can keep pulling out plans where it's like, yes, I did suffer defeat there, but I still obtained this objective because of that defeat. If they can keep pulling stuff out like that, I think that'd be great. And I really hope that Thrawn is going to be used beyond this show. I have to imagine it's the case because The Mandalorian Season 3 was building up a lot to the threat of Thrawn's return. And Dave Filoni kind of has been building the Disney Plus shows under his watch to kind of build toward like a big Avengers style event, which is either going to be a show on Disney Plus or it's going to be what his movie is, because Dave Filoni is going to be making a Star Wars movie, and that movie very well could be this. I kind of would prefer it not be, because I'm kind of soured on the whole idea of building up, the new cinematic universes where you have to do homework to see the new movie. And so I would hope that Dave Filoni would, in the movie, make it accessible to general audiences rather than just for people who have sat through all 3 seasons of The Mandalorian and Ahsoka and the Book of Boba Fett, which is just The Mandalorian Season 2.5. But one thing that stands out in this episode, and really with this show, is it's the Marvel visuals. Everything is muted in gray and washed out, and you can make things that are colorful. And I know you can make things that are colorful because I've seen colorful movies. I just saw the trailer for Aquaman 2 yesterday when I was in the theater. It was the first time I had seen it. And it is quite colorful, as the first Aquaman was quite colorful. And it's not the greatest movie. I think the first Aquaman was fine. It was kind of like Thor, but underwater. But it was very colorful and very vibrant. And it's possible to do that in film. And it feels like Disney is allergic to doing it. It feels like Disney wants to save color for animation. Sorry, but reality has color in it, and you can do that. Ezra, we get a lot more of him in this episode, and I need to go back and rewatch Rebels because it's been forever since I saw it. And obviously Ezra has spent 10 years on his own, so, things might have changed since Rebels, but he and Sabine have a very good rapport in this episode. I quite like it. There was this really cool moment in a fight where Ezra just uses the Force to block a lightsaber. And this is, a screenshot from the thing, so mild spoilers, but look at that. The effects here, as he's pushing the lightsaber away, we see the distortion on the blade. How cool is that? I love that kind of a thing. That is just a really cool effect. And I quite liked the action in this episode. And I also, because there's a moment where a bunch of stormtroopers show up, and I just laugh because I'm like, okay, that's just stormtroopers have never been threatening in the history of Star Wars, and they're certainly not gonna start now. But Baylan Skoll, God, I love that character. Ray Stevenson's character, the fallen Jedi who has his own motivations. I'm really curious to see where they go with his character. I'm of 2 minds on this. Obviously, Thrawn's being set up to go beyond Ahsoka, so I think Baylan Skoll is going to be the ultimate adversary that Ahsoka defeats in this. But I kind of want him to keep on. Even though Ray Stevenson is dead, there are ways to keep the character on. You could recast him in live action, or you could have him be a character in an animated series, or continue his story in comics or the books. I think he's a really interesting character. His motivations, I really hope, get more elaborated on here, because he's not a Sith. He doesn't have a red lightsaber, he has an orange lightsaber. I don't even think we've seen him use dark side powers. He's just no longer a Jedi, and certainly he's been working as a mercenary for people who wants to bring back the Empire. But he has his own motivations here. And I want to know what those are. And hopefully the finale next week will elucidate them for us. I hope Dave Filoni has saved the best for last, because I've been very slow on liking this show, but I feel like it's actually getting to a good place here. And now that the gang's all united, Sabine and Ahsoka and Ezra are all teaming up, hopefully we can get some good Star Wars action and some good Star Wars storytelling. Transgirl Jade says, technically Ahsoka was never a Jedi. I'm sorry, I disagree. She left the Jedi Order, but what is a Padawan? What is the full term for a Padawan? It is a Jedi Padawan. So Ahsoka left the Jedi Order, but she was a Jedi. There's one question that I've got about this show I really hope gets addressed next episode, but the whole reason that everybody's here on this planet in this other galaxy where Ezra is because Sabine basically betrayed everyone and gave the map to the bad guys. At the time, she thought everyone she loved was dead, and this was going to be her only opportunity to see, like, basically the only part of her family that she had left, a guy who lives in another galaxy. So she gave the map to help the Imperials go and rescue Thrawn. And she hasn't mentioned that to Ezra. She has been very cagey with Ezra about how she got here and what the escape plan even is. But she's going to have to confess that, and I'm curious to see how much they hold her to task for being the reason that Thrawn is returning to the galaxy. And I quite like Sabine's portrayal in this show. I like the actress that they've got playing her. I think it was a very emotionally true choice for her at the moment. I understand why she made that moment, but I want the characters to hold her to task for that choice. I want to see character consequences for it. I think that would be very interesting. So that's it for Ahsoka Episode 7. We've got the finale coming up, and I'm looking forward to it. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm trying to get my channel monetized, so your view means a lot. Don't forget to toss me a like and subscribe and ring the bell. I stream every Monday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific, so catch me live and join in on the convo. You can find all my socials in the description below, and thank you to all my patrons, with a very special shout out to my Whale Shark tier patron Ryan D and my Anemone Friend tier patron Piftle Cakes. Your support means the world. Catch you next time.